And hello and welcome to all you lords and ladies of fate. You have once again found yourselves in the self-proclaimed only Twitch TTRPG stream that allows you, the viewer, to significantly impact the stories being told on your screens. In order to do so, you must spend fate chips. These are our loyalty points that you can earn just by watching, following, hosting, subscribing, or even for engaging with us in the chat. Use those fate chips. I think I'm eating up my internet because now my Twitch streams aren't working. But it's not you. I think it's on me. I think my internet's just not working. FYI, we are starting to lag a little. Yeah, okay, so I thought it was just me. Maybe it's not just me. So that's odd. That's odd. I don't like it when the Twitch stream lags. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear me, know that you can... Yeah, I hope it gets out of the way early, too. So, let's see. Just for good sake... If the stream goes out, just holler. Okay. You can use those fate chips for healing your favorite players, summoning in custom items, making the players say or sing silly things in the tone of Disney princesses, if you will. I like that one. You can even force the adventurers into random encounters, which is especially handy when the party decides to split up. Tonight we are playing Conan, Adventures in an Age Undreamed of by Modiphius Entertainment. I'll be playing the part of Crom, who cares not for your worries, and I think it's totally frozen now. Huh.
Yeah, it looks frozen.
Well, snag it.
Have you tried calling it Twatch?
No, it's Titch. They got rid of the W like Twitter.
Do we still have YouTube connectivity?
I don't know. Oh, there now it's coming back. All right, all right. I'll be playing the part of Crom, who cares not for your worries, tonight as we play Conan, Adventures in an Age Undreamed of by Modiphius Entertainment. It's okay, just keep going. They can catch up on the VOD. All right, the recording is going to be fine. Great, 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 great. Joining me tonight, we do have an amazing cast, as always, with us, featuring our brilliance behind the scenes, the man behind the curtain, and the one who really knows what's going on, Nat. We have Verai, our shadowy assassin. We have Thornicius, the Bossonian archer. Xenia, the mercenary queen. Zang, the emissary from far off Kitai. And last but not least, we have Abertah, our zealous witch hunter.
Is it?
Tonight is going to be a very combat-heavy session. But it's going to be verbal combat, political combat, if you will.
Wait. Will it?
That's the plan. The stream is minutes behind, which is, it'll catch up, hopefully.
Until, of course, Abertag gets bored and just starts hitting people with a hammer.
I present you the argumentum ad baculum. Agree with me or I hit you with the stick.
So anyways, I started stabbing.
Yes.
While it is certainly possible for an actual fight to break out this evening, we will be focusing on overcoming our opponent's social, political prowess instead. So I want to encourage each of you to work together here to determine what, if any, specific goals you as a party or your character individually wants to come out of this session. Figuring out what you don't know. Figuring out how to find it out. A knife in the dark is just as deadly as any band of mercenaries. From an aggrieved, tenacious, and malevolent nobility. So, be thinking about that. This is going to be a social combat session. We'll have a couple of options through here. One of the things that I want to encourage is either just straight role-playing of it, in which case what you do versus what the opponents do. Or we can do this mechanically, where you can let me know what action, what social action you want to perform, and then we'll perform roles as if we are in combat in order to achieve that. Society roles, insight roles, sorcery roles, whatever the case might be. And we will be treating this somewhat even as having initiative to try to keep this as a very engaging scene of politicking and feasting. Which leads us to where we find ourselves right now.
I'm gonna get shit-faced drunk.
And that is a definite tactic. I mean, you can do that. I'll allow it. The party finds itself in the Dairn compound, Tiber Dairn being the young lord that you helped complete the trade deal. His father, Isaac Dairn, the head of the Dairn family. As you arrive to the compound, you are initially dismissed until Tiber's oldest brother, Isaac, named after his father, was convinced that it was useful to have you here. At which case, Isaac the senior has said he wants to throw a feast, and he's going to invite various important figures, political figures, nobility, rich people in the realm in order to have a feast and show off his new contacts and use it as an opportunity, from what you're gathering, as an opportunity to better themselves by throwing a feast for you. What you see here in this compound, after you've cleaned up, you've been in kind of the guest house / former servant house, you've cleaned up. This entire compound is a little past its prime. It's very old. Very old. You find in corners motifs, reliefs, and other artistic figures in the walls, in the artwork, in the tapestry. Some of the oldest of them, for those of you that would have knowledge of this far back in history, the oldest of them having signs that date back to the days of Acheron. With these reliefs not depicting Acheron as evil occupiers, but rather as honorable nobility. Now, those are only the oldest of them. Most of the rest have more modern, not exactly modern for current times, but modern-er than Acheron, which fell some thousands of years prior. 1,000 years prior? I don't remember the actual timeline, but it was like 1,000 years or something. But this compound that you're in now, very old, seems to be that at one point in time it was as luxurious as it got, but it is aged and it hasn't been updated over time. Much like you've kind of heard of the family itself, the family being past its prime, trying to rekindle a lost flame of glory. So what I want to do here, Tiber, you're the lord that you assisted, he comes out to the guest house an hour or so after you guys get settled in. He says, hey, my father wants to invite you to a feast tonight. He wants to throw a feast in your honor. He's going to invite all these people. But that's not for a few hours. He would like to invite you for tea and wine in the sitting room if you would be so desirable and amenable.
I am so inclined.
Yeah.
We would love
We would
to.
be honored.
I bet
He says-
one of my best.
I'll give you a bit of heads up. My father is extraordinarily curious about who you are, where you've been. He's asked me a bazillion questions already that I realize I don't actually know what you guys were really doing. But you guys helped me out, and that's all I needed to know. You seem like good enough people to me. So, if you'll follow me, I'll take you to my father. Now, I want to, again, let's take this moment here. If there is any coordination you as a party want to do or determining before this begins on information or activities that you need before we start. We're going to take just a moment here. If there's any coordinating that needs to be determined.
Well,
Mostly because I'm thirsty.
the major question is all of the communication is going to be done in Ophirin, correct?
No, he'll probably speak in Aquilonian.
Okay.
I mean, he's going to initially speak in Ophirin, but if the party doesn't speak it, he'll switch languages. Aquilonian or Median.
But to coordinate a bit, what's our
This will look for me.
Everybody knows Aquilonian.
Right.
but to coordinate a bit, what's our goal here? To ingratiate ourselves with this family, sure, but to what end?
Our overarching goal in Ophir in general is to obtain, backup and to warn everyone of the coming forces of evil, correct?
Well, they're not
So-
coming. You're here.
Well, they're here-ish, but also going to get worse.
The last
Go ahead, Crom.
I was going to say that the last kind of direction that you were given by the original Lordling and the Fat Gunderman was to get to Kerala, the capital of Ophir.
We're here.
You're here to get in contact with a family that was yet to be named. They have a name now. They're the Bergeons.
The Bergeons.
The Bergeons.
How do you
Are
spell?
we just even the right family?
How do you spell the Bergeons?
Bergonnes.
As in November?
Yes.
Yes.
Bravo, Echo, Romeo, Gomez, Oscar, November, Echo, Sierra.
Golf.
Golf.
Yeah, that's the one.
So
Originally, it was the family as yet to be named because I hadn't come up with the name yet. But the last direction that you received from the Gunderman was to go there, get in contact with that family, and kind of ingratiate yourselves with them until the Gunderman and the Lordling could arrive there. They will be proceeding there after a small detour.
okay.
And that was kind of as much direction as you've been given is, hey, you were also told that was the family that sheltered the Lordling when the Lordling was first escaping. So they are friendly loyalists of the Lordling, even though they are minor Ophiran nobles.
But all in all, the more help we have, or the more help that we can recruit, the better. Now, taking in your animated nature, I'd say that
My animated nature.
yes, you are definitely better at spouting off, the danger of these witches and whatnot. That you must, or we must.
And the big
protect.
bad evil guy is a necromancer. So you've been told.
So, I know that you once tales need be told about this to.
I will have that sounds good, but
espouse the danger.
I believe that our Bosonian archer should back me up because he and I both ran from big blood bubbles and blood lightning.
Yes.
I believe we all did that.
No, you were asleep.
Did we also not have there was a line or a line of power drawn to this part of Ophir? Am I correct?
Yes, kind of extrapolating from it, there was a third, because that original blood bubble had a line that went north to the border, up in the borderlands where you went, and then it had a line that went. Sorry, scratch that. There was the large bubble here. There was a line that went to where you were. There was a line that went north, and there was a line that went south. This line was dead with that first witch. When you saw the vision of this second line, it was mostly dead as you defeated the giant corpse monster thing and the cult there that was summoning it. But the strongest line was the one that came down here to Ophir. So you have strong reason to believe that there is some sort of power of this big bad evil guy, some linkage of power, of blood demonic power. The other two places that you went, you found people using the same type of blood magic that were doing city destroying evil activities.
Okay.
So, then in that case, we'll largely defer, since we're in an official capacity, largely defer to whatever Zhang needs us to, whatever charade he needs us to.
In other words, you're my backup.
In other words, what?
You're my backup.
I'll listen like I don't understand what people are saying.
We'll just step back and look pretty.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink some wine.
Good job on it.
I can sniff out whether there are any
Witches
witches.
doesn't understand a thing.
As always, just try not to kill anyone.
They're witches.
Until
No promises on killing anybody. It's a diplomatic dinner. No promises.
I can't bring my bow though.
just don't kill anyone in a way that can be, brought back to us.
Unless they deserve it.
So what I'm hearing is no survivors.
No survivors.
Yes, survivors.
Unless they're witches.
That was weird. Had a bug. All right, so Tiber leads you into the main house, which you haven't been into yet. The inside of the main house is well apportioned. It has. He leads you in basically through through the front doors. There's a big kind of area in this front. There's a servant there. Elderly gentleman. He says he'll take your coats, anything that you need to put down, he'll take to it and put it in the closets. It's kind of a decent sized foyer. There's windows on the front of it. There's a couple of busts over here that you assume are members of the Darren family that have passed on. There's paintings of what looks to be an old, maybe a general or something. Also, you assume they're former Darrens of history that have done great things.
That reminds
Wait,
me. Did
those
everyone,
just came with the photograph frame.
Did everyone, change out of their armor and into something at least more suitable for?
So at the end of the last session, we had all kind of said that we're getting cleaned up and putting on finery.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming everybody is in cleaned up and wearing nice attire and not plate mail.
A red robe with a wide brimmed hat.
Especially the assassin. Especially the assassin. With the red lipstick and the eyeshadow and lipstick and the eyeshadow.
Would you assassinate me? I'd assassinate me.
I'd assassinate all over you.
Wow.
Anyway,
Uncomfortable.
No, no.
and
For whichever PC is the most anarchistic. Hey, assassin. You're the most anarchistic, I think.
Me? I could never. Okay, maybe.
You officially now have a grenade attached to a small piece of paper. The piece of paper has 3 directions on it. Direction 1, pull this. Direction 2, throw that. Direction 3, run away.
What about count to 3? Doesn't he have to count to 3?
Do what?
No more than 3, though.
No more than 3, but
you didn't say it was holy.
2 shalt thou not count, setting that thou proceedest directly to 3.
4 is too many.
Right out.
5 is right out.
So easy as a moron can do it.
Yeah. More like a moron.
So easy as a moron could do this.
I don't know if I'd go around insulting the people of Zamora if I were you.
I am a people of
I'm talking
Zamora.
about this. I am also Zamoran.
It's okay. I am Zamora.
Tiber leads you through here into first what is the grand hall of this house, and you can see the better part of half a dozen servants scurrying about, putting the tables together, putting tablecloths and silverware and cleaning and scrubbing the walls and setting up lanterns and lamps and things. Prepping for this feast that's going to be happening here in a couple of hours. He leads you through there into a side room. Don't do it here. Don't use it here. Whoopsie.
I like how it doesn't actually say what it's going to do. For all he knows, it creates a feast. Confetti.
Yeah, it's just a small glass flask with a pin around some metal and
A little pole
Maybe
pops
it's
up,
healing.
says boom.
where's the kaboom? There's supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
It just shouts, "Gotcha!"
He'd lead you to a relatively well-appointed side room, kind of a lounge area just off the Grand Hall, visible with the Grand Hall, like it's kind of open to it, but there's bookshelves, there's armoires full of china that's being opened up, big bay windows pointing out to a very vine-filled garden area. Several low couches and chase lounges and other things of the sort. And you see for the first time Isaac Dairn, the patriarch of the family. He's a slightly older guy, considering that his son Tiber is very early 20s, maybe not even quite 20 yet. So he had Tiber when he was a little older, considering that this guy is almost 60. So past his prime, but still has dark hair with gray streaks, dark beard, again with silver gray streaks throughout his beard.
And that he has lived to ripe old age of 60 is nothing short of amazing in these times. Miraculous.
For his age, he seems very healthy. He seems strong. He seems healthy. And he definitely does not have any cloud over his eyes as he measures you as you walk in. Sitting on the small couch beside him is a younger version of him that you would swear was just an older clone of Tiber. He's the necromancer. The second person that you see is the one that met you when you came into the compound that Tiber introduced as his older brother, Isaac the younger. And the two of them are in there. They already have cups of tea. The servant offers you seats. There are 5 seats here. Two couches and a chase. The chase obviously being the one that is more prestigious and directly in front of Isaac the Senior. The 2 couches are kind of flanking to either side.
Of course, take the chase.
No. The chaise.
The chaise.
Yeah, I'll wait to see who sits in the chaise. And then
there.
I go sit on one of the couches.
That would be Zing.
Yeah.
Well met, Lord Darren. I will.
Hail and well met here. Hail and sorry, got to get the right accent here. Why, hail and well met there, traveler. The 5 of you sit down. The 2 Isaacs sit down, are already seated. There is no more seats. Tiber is standing there. Standing.
I'm gonna stand up and offer my seat to Tiber, just at least in a quiet here. I defer to you kind of manner.
Dude, you're a lady.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
stand
also a guest trying to ingratiate myself, you bastard.
up.
Isaac the Senior says, "There's no need for that. Tiber, go see to the invitations. I'd like to have some time here with your acquaintances." And he dismisses Tiber just like that.
And
Tiber-
there goes our one link in.
And Tiber's like, "Yes, father," and
It's fine.
goes away to do busy work. Isaac the Senior. "So I hear the group of you assisted my youngest in achieving that which I set forth for him."
Yes, sir.
That is indeed the case. Mostly because we overheard that he was attempting to negotiate with the wrong family, as fate would have it.
I didn't hear about a wrong family, but I did hear that there had been a change of hands.
Indeed.
And what, pray tell, interested you about that change of hands?
When we had met them on our way towards town, they seemed a bit more hostile than they should have been. It piqued our worry.
So therefore you took it upon yourselves to escort a stranger to go back to somewhere that was being hostile to you out of the goodness of your hearts.
I wouldn't say the goodness of our hearts. I mean, we do have a diplomatic mission. I mean, I see an opportunity. I know how to jump on it.
Now that there is something I can respect and understand. So what, pray tell, are you hoping to get out of this encounter then with assisting my son now that you are now here within my humble home?
Well, first and foremost, of anyone of my position, contacts within noble families such as your own is always useful. I mean, I'd be remiss in my mission if I did not.
So you're merely seeing us as a means to an end then, is that it?
I mean, no. Well, yes and no. I mean, what is the word?
Would you like to just tell me what your intent is and then roll a society check or a persuasion check?
I mean, I'm trying to be honest with him, but also we aren't trying to use him. or anyone. Really.
Remember
We're
that you're
just-
a diplomat and you've
Yes.
done this before, so the answer to that question is yes, aren't we all? This man plays the game, and you got to show that you know how to play the game too.
Yes, well, I personally don't know how to play the game, so
So that's why I'm
will-
saying if you would like to roll either a society or persuasion check.
yeah, something like that.
The chance are the rest of us sitting down, or was
Yes, so
there-
you're sitting down. While this conversation between the two of them are happening. While the conversation between the two of them are happening, the servant that showed you in is, can I get you something to drink, tea, wine?
Them's fighting words.
Well, if you
I'll take a.
You'll have to pardon him. The word for tea means I want to fuck your mother in Zamoran.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. I thought I heard the wrong syllable. My bad.
Tea would be lovely.
I think we lost you.
Crom, does this room have any of those oddly
Crom has
out-of-place
disappeared into the
Astaronian
nethers.
artifacts?
Chrome. Oh, Chrome.
Oh, he's frozen.
I just thought I scared him.
He's either frozen or he's holding very still.
He's not blinking. So what? There are two of them.
There he goes. Now he's back.
knock the internet. Oh, wait a minute. It's going to have the wrong settings again.
Well, yeah, you're over there.
There we go. Now I'm back.
Yeah, we can still see your face. Settings are all messed up.
Hey.
You have the right thing on Twitch though.
At least there's
Yes, I am on Twitch now.
So
Yes.
Crom, does this room have any of those strangely out of place Asheronian artifacts floating around in it? Well, not literally floating, but
Roll me
literally floating.
an observation check. It's only going to be a DC 1, but if you get a few extra, then you get a couple of momentum points here.
Yeah, observation's not my strong suit at all. I could find the right window.
also, I have a success.
A
for that.
9 and an 8, so that's one success. 2 successes. You got 2 successes, so generate a 1 point of momentum for the
I
party.
didn't get it.
Oh, those were his rolls. I see. So Zhang, you had 1 success on diplomacy-like stuff, and you got none. So honestly, Ambertech, right now you're kind of just taking it all in. There's so much movement. There's people moving around. They're handing you free drinks, wine if you like it, tea if you like it. I guess the assassin can have some beer. If
I opted for tea.
tea.
Take a glass of ale.
Zhang, what would you, as the servant says, steps in to politely wait for a lull in the conversation and then to offer you a drink of your choice? Would you like some tea or some wine?
It has been ages since I've had good tea.
Very good. I shall return momentarily. And the servant steps away. Back to your conversation. Basically, what you kind of pass with him is yes, you're hoping for mutual benefit. You're not doing things out of pure selfishness. You're hoping for mutual benefit. And you saw an opportunity to ingratiate yourself in a new area, in a new culture. And so you took it.
now, Crom, normally this is what Verai does, but it is also an ability Abertak has, and this is part of the time he would do it. So I'm going to use
Do not stab him in the face.
not the face, the dick.
So anyways, I
Do
started
it.
stabbing.
Take my grenade.
To get a general feel for his trustworthiness, not whether he's good or bad. This is trustworthiness. Now it says thievery, but I may substitute insight for thievery when dealing with humans.
Yeah, okay.
just happen.
Which skill is that allows you to do? Huh?
Oh, on my sheet it is see the soul.
Oh, see the soul. Okay.
Yep. So I got
All right. So 2 successes. His general sense of trustworthiness is, well, he doesn't seem like he's going to stab you while he's picking your pocket and telling you everything is okay. So he's at least that trustworthy. But this, you can just see from the way his eyes don't move as he pretends to smile that this is a man used to deception.
Well, I'm gonna kind of give Verai, we've seen this type before in our homeland look, but say nothing.
He is after a couple of moments of introduction, he began speaking Aquilonian, so the entire party can hear. He's playing the politician there, so the entire party can converse here. Okay, so let me get back to my sheet.
Any chance I could use perception to look around the room, maybe at the books or behind him, trying to pick out anything that may or may not have anything to do with what we're looking for here?
Roll me an observation check, yeah.
One second. My administrative assistant here is assisting me.
Let's see, Thornicius, observations, 14 and 3. So you're really good at observation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I should make you roll sorcery.
Oh. Look, you have enough doom already.
Yeah.
I can't see what I'm typing.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be working.
Hold on.
Try make certain
There it
you're
is.
clicking. Okay.
Yeah.
Minor dims 5 words. Don't say that again because it knocked me off the internet last time. Okay, so 1 success.
One success.
1 success. As you're looking around, now, mind you, you're a creature of the wilderness. You're used to spotting plants and animals and traps and tracks and ambushes and weather patterns. Here in a place like this, in the sitting room of a decadent nobility,
Yeah.
you're a little out of your element. What you do note, though, you are familiar with Mitra.
Mhm.
Everybody, especially in Aquilonia, is familiar with Mitra. It's the official religion. You do see Mitran artifacts here. Vera does have a point. Sharp senses to be able to re-roll an observation if you have it.
Oh. Yeah.
But it's for this case, it's fine. We worry about that next time.
Yeah.
You do see Mitran artifacts here. And all of the ones that you see are shiny, like gold plated and silvered. And the cost of the Mitran artifacts that you see here is as much as some churches, entire temples that you've been in, just the artifacts themselves. But they're not arrayed around an altar. They're not arrayed in a position. They're more like pieces of art that are being put up on shelves to decorate rather than to worship.
Okay. So I'm not getting the idea that he's a hardcore zealot, but more of an established collector, maybe.
Well, remember when we came into this
Okay.
place, like the Mitran temples were very ostentatious.
Yeah. Do I see any other religions besides Mitra?
Yes. For one DC check, you see kind of arrayed about what would appear to be different religious artifacts. What they are, you're not sure, but there definitely does appear to be other artifacts arrayed in among those pieces of decoration.
Nothing that I know of that would be evil, though, or malevolent.
I mean,
I've come up against cultists and blood cultists and things like that. Do I see anything that relates to that?
your character's not really the religious-y, historic-y lore person, the sorcery person.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a sorcery check.
Yikes. Good luck.
You have a 7 expertise there.
Okay.
Don't forget to type it yourself so we know how good it's going to roll. And since you don't have any focus, a 19 and a 20 are both complications.
You know, you don't have to make the roll if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with it, but if I need to, I can always spend a fortune point, right?
Well, that won't negate any complications.
Right. Well, I'm just going to automatically spend a fortune point. That gives me an automatic 1, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just
You
do
still
that.
got to roll.
Yeah, I'm going to take a roll. That did not work out right, did it?
/ roll.
Ah,
2 dice
that's
roll.
what I did wrong. That's why I have an administrative assistant for this. Criminy.
Wow, 2 successes.
I'm surprised myself.
Which combined with the point of fortune that you just spent, that's 4 successes. So I'm going to go ahead and give the party 2 points of momentum. Not 23, just 2. Why, yes, you actually do recognize some of the artifacts here. For example, that artifact right there appears to be a recreation of a Pictish, a shark tribe Pictish totem. It's not made of bones and sticks and mud. It's made of bronze and steel and gold, but that's a recreation of a Pictish shark totem. And over there, that one is from the Sons of Bori, from which the Hyborians get their name, which was a man that became so legendary he became a god, and is kind of relatively accepted. If the Northerners, the barbaric Northerners, worshipped a god, it was probably Bori. He's kind of like the barbarian god thing, very primal, but was once a man. Over there is some sort of twisted shape of like a desiccated mummy's head, except it has dozens of eyes scattered around this desiccated mummy's head.
Oh, that I do not like. Okay.
And that one right there, you would recognize anywhere. That is a serpent of Set. We don't like the Set serpents. But that serpent, that serpent you don't recognize. That's a different serpent than the serpent of Set. You don't recognize that one.
Nothing that looks anything like my amulet, though.
No. Sorry, I had to remember what your amulet was.
Yeah.
What did the amulet look like?
You said it was a round amulet with what looked like...
Oh, yeah, it was like a plate size of bones. That's right.
Yes.
No, there's nothing that is a plate shape of bones.
Okay. I was just looking for some possible way in to figure out what the heck this thing is without actually doing anything with it. Me and Zhang are going to have a conversation later about that.
There is a great clatter and crash and glass breaking sound coming from the Great Hall as you kind of all startle and jump a little bit and look over, and apparently one of the servants dropped one of the china. It hit the stone floor, shattered. That servant is now being yelled at and smacked with a rod and chased out of the room.
Ow.
Not gently hit with a rod either, like beat with a rod and chased out of the room.
Curious. Was she
Yeah.
looking at us or in here?
No,
No. Okay.
no,
So
no.
It wasn't like looking at us caused her to drop it.
No,
Okay.
no. The one that
Or
beat
that ugly.
the
So-
one that was beating this servant, after a moment, comes into the lounge that you're in. Sorry, my lord, that won't happen again. I assure you. My sincerest apologies for that ruckus. The servants will do better. Isaac kind of waves him off grumpily. Isaac then looks over to you, Mr. Bosonian Archer. I do say there, hope you don't mind me asking, but is that a Bosonian bow you got there?
Oh, I didn't
I've
know.
never seen one in person, only heard rumors and stories of the quality of those bows and the ones who wield them.
Yes, sir. I served time
So,
with them.
so are you one of them famous ones, the Bosonian archers that they say they could shoot a knot on a tree at 100 paces blindfolded?
Maybe sans the blindfold, but yeah.
Boy, I sure would like to see that sometime. I don't think we can right now, but you mind giving me a demonstration of that prowess at some point in time? I'm just dying to see if the rumors are true.
Sure.
Excellent, excellent. I sure would appreciate that. So, what brought you into the service of the emissary here?
Well, I recognize a man of means, and I'm a bit of a what do you call a restless sort. I like adventure, and as I was out in the wilderness, and he looked like he did not know the wilderness, I decided to be his guide.
Oh, what part of the wilderness were you in?
We started out where were we? A little north of the Bosonian Marches themselves. Yeah, up near the borderlands.
Didn't I hear some sort of story about some city being burnt down or something out there?
Don't remember the city getting burned down. I do remember other things, but yes, well, there was some action.
I hear that out there is it's turning into a hotbed of dissent, though, and King Nemedius, there, the king of Aquilonia, is having a hard time keeping his people in check out there. They're getting rowdy.
I leave it to you to decide which people.
Go ahead and give me an insight check, an insight check, if you would. And Zhang, I would even allow you to support him on that.
Please. Pretty
I
please.
shall assist in that.
I don't believe I had any success.
Successfully assist in that.
Okay, so there's that one success there.
You can re-roll a one of those d20s if you like.
Okay. Yeah. Why don't I do that?
I recommend it.
Yeah, just one. I don't even know if that's
Your insight is an 11, so that matches.
So 2 successes.
So Zhang, you see this Isaac the senior. He's leading your friend into a verbal trap. He is trying to get to a piece of information that he appears to already know. Just kind of the way he started saying, I heard there was some discontent up there. Sounded like he's more than heard of some discontent up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is unfortunate, and one of the other reasons why we are continuing our business south for the time being.
Oh, you're trying to get away from all that discontent then.
Less get away from and more
not get caught up in.
Well, that sure is funny, because I heard tell of some people kind of match your descriptions getting caught up in it.
No.
See, there was a couple of Zamorans and an archer and a Kitani. I mean, the Zamorans and the archer, I could certainly see being coincidental, but to be paired up with the Kitani, there's not a whole lot of them running around. It seems quite coincidental from what I hear.
I mean, you hear tall tales of the Kitani all over the place.
Ready the stabby.
Any idea how many people think I can walk on water?
Well, can you? I've heard them rumors too.
I mean, if you get a fast enough running start, maybe.
Not for long. I think it's frozen.
Speaking of Zamorans, he looks to you, Abertac. My youngest son does indeed tell me that you've got quite the passion for the dark arts.
You might say that.
Oh, dear.
What is it that you're doing in these parts?
I'm a witch hunter, a witch finder.
A witch finder, huh?
Sorcerers, witches, any who consort with the outer dark, the denizens of the inferno. I put them to the sword, the hammer, the torch.
And you find many witches? You find many witches on your journey here?
Unfortunately, yes. I've slain demons, and stranger things yet that should not walk this earth.
Mm-hmm.
Ma, that is terribly interesting, but I'm a faithful follower of Mitra, and even I kind of believe that if someone wants to damn their own soul, then let them face the consequences.
Unfortunately, they rarely stop with their own.
Yeah.
I answer to no kings, no nobles. My calling is higher.
Oh, I see. A believer, then.
I respect all the bright gods. They all would have the darkness chased from our doorstep.
And your fellow Zamoran, does she feel the same?
Absolutely not. And it takes, he like holds that face for a second before he smiles and like cracks that he's joking and has some teeth.
Yes, I respect all of the bright gods. Not a witch hunter though, like my esteemed colleague though.
So, how are you involved with your friendly diplomat here, then?
Largely, I'm strength in numbers.
Yeah.
And I can, I can read people, and I am one of the world. I'm largely just traveling the world, and I figured I might as well get paid for it. So I do all right with procuring things and finding people, things like that. So my skill sets come in handy from time to time in a group of this esteem.
So say one of my associates needed something acquired. Could they reach out to you?
Sure. It is a for-hire profession. So things are.
What if they had some sort of problems that needed to be made to go away? Could you help them with that too?
Careful what you sell here.
It really will depend.
Ophir is a rich land of mercenaries and activities.
It is, and I do not profess to be a mercenary. We all have morals, right? It's worth further discussion, I would say.
Very good. A particular set of talents around here can earn you a lot of gold.
I would imagine so.
Is there so this is the informal portion of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you want to return to question of him during the portion of this conversation?
Well, as this is a matter of mutual benefit, what is it that you truly hope to achieve from announcing my presence and hosting a party to assist in my endeavors here?
Well, just the same thing that any nobility wants. To take over the world. I kid. His eyes don't move when he says he kids. I kid. I think, as you can imagine, hosting a dignitary such as yourself can bring some prestige, and it's been a while. I've been meaning to find an excuse to bring members of my fellow nobility here, and I figure if a companion of my youngest has such an interesting story, then maybe I can help facilitate some dialogue between your interests and mine.
Indeed.
He says a lot of words, and none of it meant anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Promised nothing.
A bureaucrat. Yeah.
A politician.
A politician.
Now, as I don't have the linguistic capacity to, eke any information out of him, I would like to roll.
Yeah, what are you trying to find out?
Any alternative motives or any way that we can assist him in his goals?
Insight.
Huh.
A 2 and a 14,
Yeah.
which is 2 successes? One success.
One success.
Okay. Basically, what you get out of him is one, he's trying to curry favor. He's trying to increase his prestige. And he definitely has motives. I wouldn't say they are ulterior, not ulterior.
Nefarious.
Ulterior.
Ulterior.
Can I glean if he's trying to hire me to take out some competition he's having, or if he's just trying to trap me?
Roll in thievery or insight, your choice.
What's my thievery? They're same thing. They're 12. Hang on, let me look.
Well, is one or the other trained?
Yeah. Yes, they are. They're both 12/2.
Okay.
So with one success there,
one success.
he seems to be sussing out if he could hire you. He's looking for opportunities. He doesn't seem to be trying to trap you, though. He's looking for opportunities. I mean, the sense that you get from him is this is a person that's always looking for an angle, always looking for something that's going to help him, and he doesn't really care who gets hurt in the process.
So, the typical person that would employ somebody like me. Check.
A typical person that would employ somebody like you.
Okay.
So through the series of the conversation, kind of the main things that you glean from him is you can tell that he is ambitious. You can also tell that he's obsessed. A lot of his points of conversation keep going back to, bringing back the glory of his house. And I know I failed to kind of weave that into some of the conversations that we were having. Just through the period of the conversation, you hear a lot of him, his family's rightful place in charge. He says that where we deserve to be, where we should be. He's trying to get back to where they should be. They're supposed to be. They deserve to be. But you also get the sense that he's not there, that he's trying to be more powerful than he is. And that's part of why he's wanting to throw the feast with you guys, so that he can use you to help get him to where he wants to be. If he was there already, he wouldn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And how about his son? Does he say anything at all during this conversation? Does he just sit there obedient and...
For the most part, Isaac the Jr. is observing. He's listening, learning, observing. He's paying very close attention, but he is not leading the conversation. That's for his father to do. He'll pipe in every now and then. Maybe his dad's like, the Lord of what's his name? Oh, you mean Lord what's his name? Yeah, that's the one.
I hate that guy.
Hate that guy.
Lord, what's his name?
Lord, what's
hate that guy.
Okay. After a good hour or so, you've had some tea. You saw the servant get beat. You had conversation where he basically grilled you on everything you've seen to do, and you get the sense that he knew a lot more than he knew the questions, or that he knew many of the answers to the questions he was asking you before he asked them. He seems to be very up on current events. And so about after an hour of good conversation there, he says, well, if you'll excuse me, I must go and attend to myself and preparations for this here feast. Isaac, if you could see them back to the guest house and have Tiber attend to them on anything that they might need before the feast. Feast starts at the 7th bell. Sorry, feast starts at the 8th bell. Guests should be arriving about then. And he gets up, nods at all of you, and walks out. Mm-hmm. Isaac the Jr. then basically calls to a servant, says, hey, go get Tiber. A minute later, Tiber shows up. He says, take them back and see if, pamper them for a while and take care of them. Guests should be here at the 8th bell. And then Isaac the Jr. takes off, and you with Tiber again. Tiber looks a little upset.
Well met.
Does that happen often around here?
What was that?
Does that happen often around here?
Does what happen often?
The dismissals and the side jobs.
Well, he's got the heir and the spare.
Heir and this is a phrase I'm not.
Yes.
Oh,
The second
Okay,
son.
never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am neither of them.
Well, that's harsh.
Tiger's the third son?
Tiber's the youngest son. You have met 3, or you've heard of 3. You haven't
we've
haven't
only
met
met
a
the-
middle son, but you've been told there is a middle son, and the Tiber is the youngest of at least 3.
Okay.
We met Tiberius or Tiberian or
Just Tiber.
no? Didn't we meet? We met a brother last time when we first introduced. I thought you
Yeah,
said his
that
name
was
was like.
Isaac the Junior.
Oh, was it Isaac the Junior that we met?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
I want to ask him what caused his family to fall from where his. I'm not going to be political about it. I'm just going to ask him.
He goes. You're back at the guest house now, and
Yeah.
he's relaxed a little bit. Opened up his collar, touch. He brought a jug of wine. He goes, who the hell knows? We haven't been the family of note for 1,000 years, and yet my father keeps chasing after it his whole life, his whole obsession to restore the glory of a family he never knew. Doesn't make any sense. I don't see the point of it. Why keep trying to chase what hasn't existed in 1,000 years, and why not just
Question. Tiber, you say he's been chasing it his whole life. How has he been chasing it his whole life? What has he tried?
Not sure what you mean. He's
How is he attempting to regain this family honor and position?
like every way possible. I mean, between trade agreements and marriage agreements and favors and artwork and other things that I know that I'm not supposed to know about, but I hear rumors of anyways that one shouldn't be proud of.
Could you indulge us in any of those rumors, so we know what at least to look out for while we're out in town?
Well, I don't think he's got anything against trying to fight you guys. I don't think you're under any threat.
No, not at all. Nothing like that. But if there are rumors that we're attached to a house that has some sort of rumors associated with it, we may hear things in whispering, and we might be able to get you more information.
I mean, if you hear something, yeah, sure, I guess let me know. I don't agree with how he goes about things, and well, he doesn't really let me go about things with him, so I don't really know.
Okay, so there are no specific rumors then that we might hear as we go about town.
I don't. I mean, none that you're not going to hear about everybody. I mean, everybody hires mercenaries to do their dirty work around here. That's just kind of the way it works.
And where do we stand on violent revolution?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, if you want to change things,
Oh, violence isn't the answer. Violence just begets violence. What we really
is when
need,
you find a witch.
well, I mean, maybe that's so. You're the expert there, but what our society needs isn't more violence, it's more care. We need, instead of focusing on all of these petty squabbles and who's the bigger family and all of that, why can't we focus on art, right? On creating things and making something new? Why can't we feed people that need food and like if I had my way, we'd just start making some trade agreements with like the Argosians and start building alliances with nations that have access to the ports. And then we can start trading our goods anywhere that we would like, and we'd have more time to build galleries and charities.
Why doesn't your father want to do the trading agreements? It seems like he likes trading agreements. He sent you to do one.
He just disagrees on what we should do.
Wait, but he sent you to do a trade agreement. So does he? He obviously likes trade. It's just he doesn't like the Argosians, or he doesn't like trade by sea, or
My father is more internally focused. If it doesn't help him get prestige and power within Ophir, he doesn't care about it. He made an agreement with one of the other families of Ophir. It brought him prestige here in Ophir to complete this agreement. Not much, but he doesn't trust me with the big stuff.
One would think that a lucrative trade agreement would bring with it wealth that creates prestige.
Yeah, but it's with foreigners that don't have anything to do with our culture anyways, and so that doesn't really get you a long ways.
Money does.
Money alone is not power.
Sure goes a long way to getting it.
Question though, I see that your father is, he's very motivated.
He's obsessed.
Should we be concerned about any old blood feuds or rivals that may, I don't know, try and stop this from becoming an actual thing?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You've never had any brush-ins or anything like that that could be tied back to a more...
I mean, there's kidnappings and things that'll happen for ransom every now and then, but open bloodshed, that doesn't happen here in Ophir.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It's time.
I mean,
Question for you,
bloodshed
Tiber.
is what I saw when the guy was hanging above the...
Yeah,
True.
it's a terrible way that we treat the less fortunate.
Question for you, Tiber.
Yeah.
What families do you expect this evening?
Well, we sent out invitations. I reached out to several of the different families. King Amalurus and his wife have been invited. The High Priest of Mitra has been invited. Let's see. The Emerald Lancers, the captain of the Emerald Lancers have been invited. Let's see. I went to the Dades. I contacted the Rolands, the Capets, the Darves. And we've sent out blanket invitations to most of the noble families of the area.
Is there anything we should know or be aware of that we should not, because we're strangers in this land, of course, that discussions that maybe we should not approach or get
The more
caught?
drunk they get, the more they talk, but I wouldn't know. You're the guests of honor, not me. Well, he's the guests of honor. You guys will be with me, I guess.
So, are there any families specifically that you are feuding with that you didn't invite?
Well, I mean, both the Sobs and the Frobs have been invited. I know you said you had some dealings with the Dufresnes, but I don't think they were invited. I don't expect to see the Sobs or the Frobs, to be honest, though. Even though we did just sign a trade agreement, which should have been, a victorious return, but I come back with a victorious return, and you guys get the interest from my father.
Well, we're the shiny bright thing that you brought home. So
There's always a shiny bright thing that isn't me.
understand.
However, this is your victory,
It is
and
your victory.
it is your victory, and you can at least share in that and use that to a bucket's not full just in one fell swoop. It takes drops to fill the bucket. This is another drop in that bucket that will get your father to notice your contributions to the family.
Have you been sharing your fortune cookies with him?
It's like a circle.
Not from Chicago.
A little bit of time goes by. One of the servants comes in and asks if any of you want any of your garments to be tailored or anything before the feast. They get you decked out a little bit, looking nice. Zhang, in particular, you get most of the treatment to have any modifications, tailoring done to your outfits, but everybody gets a little bit.
I'm probably the one who's
Any
getting
way
the
they could,
lead of it.
Could they tailor something that looks like a Bosonian archer's uniform?
Not in time. Mostly they can just do a bit of modification. They've only got a couple hours.
Okay.
I can patch the holes and make it look a little less
Yeah, that's
travel worn.
Patch and tailor.
This arrow hole here, especially. I don't like that one. Bad.
And the 8th gong rings out throughout the city. Tiber says, I guess it's about time for us to head over to the Feast of Your Honor.
Before we head out, I would like to pull Tiber aside.
Oh, okay.
And murder him.
No.
Zhang, would it be out of line for you to invite Tiber to attend with us, since he is the one that brought us to town? Would it be out of line for us to invite him to sit with us?
Actually, that would be an
It
excellent.
would be incredibly out of line to invite someone to their own house.
Well, to sit with us in case his father decides to, dismiss him again or something like that. If our goal is to bring him to the forefront in his father's eyes,
Is that what we're doing now?
it's a
No,
pet project of mine.
it's not our goal.
We like the kid.
We like the kid.
Yeah.
Kid's got spunk. He's an idealist.
Do you know what happens to idealists in the witch hunting business?
But I
If
would
it's
like to
anything out
put
of line
Tiber
for-
aside on my own, away from the group. And their suggestions. Oy. But
You said you
Yeah.
wanted to ask Tiber something?
I'd like to pull him aside, in the very least.
Uh-huh.
But,
Is he a little old for you?
oi. I will shove that hammer so far up your. In any case. Tiber, while I am stealing your light, this is your opportunity to prove to your father that you are not just a side decoration / backup to a backup.
Maybe to a backup. We don't know how many there are.
True. But you are there. Oi.
I'm always there.
Yeah.
In your head.
You give him a little pep talk.
Basically, I mean, I'm not going to regret stealing the spotlight, but it is up to him to, pull his belt up, tighten it up, and start taking a page from his father's book and using his connections to improve the family and his standing in his father's eyes.
He reminds me of that little wimpy prince from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
But yes, I will give him minor diplomatic pep talk / pointers, and then head off towards the.
Tiber leads you to the Great Hall, back in through that front door, the big foyer there with the windows and the arches, into the Great Hall. The Great Hall is, it's almost unrecognizable from what it was a few hours back when you were first going in there. There is a large U-shaped table near the back wall that comes down about halfway. This large U-shaped table does. Seats all around the outside of it for people to look at. At the head of the table, so it's one long side, and then two slight angles, and then a straight side. So it's kind of got 5 total. And then there is a second table, which is not as grandly bedecked, but it is the front third or so of the room is a second table. Seats are a little bit closer together. There's several more seats at it, and it's more round. It's also kind of square shaped, but kind of a wide, more of like a wide bucket and in rather than a U V thing. And as you walk in, the I can't remember what the name of the person is, but they call out Emissary Zhang and party from far off Kitai.
Is that a crier?
Yes.
Sure, the crier.
Yeah.
The crier comes in.
It's a herald.
Harold. At the main table there, you see Isaac and his son. They're at the main table, kind of at the end of it, at the head, the flat part head of the table. The crier then looks to you, Zhang, and says, and asks you, who is your accompaniment tonight?
As in, you're asking the name of my party, or?
No, good sir. I'm asking the name of your partner.
I have no partner.
Then who shall sit with you at the head of the table?
Well, and if I must, then I shall bring Verai along with me.
Oh Lord, he plans to stab someone.
Or the mercenary queen here, but she's otherwise disposed of. So.
And accompanied by Verai of Brithunia?
Dusseldorf.
Of Dusseldorf. I don't know where that is.
Neither do we.
And a second servant takes the three remaining of you to the smaller table where you see a few people already. And Zhang, you and Verai head to the head of the table at the at Darren's to his left. And then the other three get to go to the small table.
Can you speak Ophirian? Okay, good. Definitely made the right choice here.
Yes, I picked up Ophirian before we got here.
Or did he?
I was fighting words.
There are two seats at the head where Isaac's the senior and Isaac the younger are sitting. Two seats to the side where now Zhang and Verai are sitting. The two seats to his right are not seated yet. And then you see some nobility there already, a couple of people at the table. And then their parties at the kids' table. After a few moments, another small group of people comes in, and you hear the crier say, let's see who is coming in. Lord Capets and accompaniment. And then you see an older gentleman, what appears to be his wife, come in and sit down on the side of the table. Their party sits in. This happens a couple times. There's some small talk. Isaac says, I'm so glad that you could join. This feast is in your honor. Once we have commenced the festivities and everybody has arrived, then we shall drink and be merry to your honor.
Can I do an observation check for security?
So, yes, you may. Actually, that's go ahead and give me an observation. Without an observation check, what you can tell is these nobles, at best, have like a long ceremonial knife. 3 successes? Okay. The nobility has like 3 long knives, maybe a ceremonial small sword or daggers, but basically no. some of the people at the child's table, at the kids' table, though, a few of them, well, let's just say more than a couple of them have weapons hidden underneath their tabards that you spot a hilt of a knife here, hilt of a knife there. Quite a few people have some sort of hidden armaments among them. There are a good half a dozen of what appear to be Dairn armsmen wearing breastplates and Dairn tabards and Dairn colors. 4 at the front, 2 at the back of the hall. You saw a few more. Everybody's out in like their parade dress. You saw a few more out on the grounds of the Dairn guardsmen. But for the most part, the only ones that are openly armed are the Dairn armsmen. Or some of the nobles have a small blade, maybe a rapier or an epée or something.
How armed are we? Did we come to this? Did we come to this fully armed?
I'm assuming you're not. If you are going to be armed, it would need to be hidden, although the exception to that could be Zhang.
I mean, they are naturally hidden. But rapier, is that like bulle?
I don't know what a bulle is. It's a pointy sword.
Yeah, a rapier is like a very, very thin
for fencing.
fencing tool. Yeah.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
The Isaac Sr. did show interest and was asking me to do a
trick shot with your bow?
A trick shot or something like that. So what I would do is I would bring my bow to the dinner, but I would give it to one of the armsmen nearby.
Okay.
With a quiver of arrows, just in case.
Yeah, that's a good call. These Dairn armsmen always mocking on our lawns.
I go nowhere without at least a dagger, so I've got it hidden.
Right. I would assume you've got a knife or 2 hidden on you.
We're not going to ask where.
Yeah. Hold on a second.
The old prison packet.
Got it.
Oh, I get it.
It was hidden in the pant leg. The pant leg. As a few more nobility shows up, one catches your eye as they show up, and that is a rather portly, older. You guys just went fuzzy. It'll come back in a second, I'm sure. But you guys went fuzzy. Mike, Andy,
Yeah,
would you like?
somebody was waving his hand all around there.
There it goes.
It's just the ale.
Of note, and you, as you take a look at Isaac, you see him actually being surprised when this noble comes in. A portly old man, rather rotund, portly old man, and his even more portly wife, Lord Win Bergeon, and wife Isabel. If you will note, the Bergeons were the ones you were originally sent here to meet.
Yep.
They didn't say nobody said anything about them being on the invite list. That's what I was listening for.
Spelled Win, W-Y-N-N.
Uh-huh. Lord Win Bergeon and Isabel, his wife. They go and take the seat. There's a couple of people that come with them and then sit down at the table right beside the 3 of you. They kind of push their way to make certain that they are sitting beside the 3 of you. And then another one comes in, is announced by the crier. High Priest of Mitra. Sorry, wrong voice. The High Priest of Mitra, Vasily. And in walks, you know those like Russian Orthodox priest patriarchs with the ridiculous white gold embroidered outfits and
like the big background to
the
their
hat
head.
that's like up to here. Yeah, one of those walks in. High
Malage.
Priest Vasily.
Knowledge.
High Priest Vasily comes in and sits down. So you're sitting to the Isaac's left. There is an open space 2 seats to his right, and Vasily takes the first one past those 2 seats. Beyond that, there's after a little while, most of the room fills up. However, the 2 seats to Isaac's right never do fill up. And as time goes on, you can see him getting a little agitated about it. Tiber is sitting at the kids' table with the 3 of you guys, not with Zhang and Verai, but Tiber is sitting at the kids' table with the rest of you. And now, let's see. Is there anybody else that I need to bring up?
You said the Burgones, they sat at the kids' table with the other 3, not at the table with us.
The Burgone staff did. The Burgone and his wife, they sat at the main table.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, they sat at the main table, and then the people that came with them, which you would assume are either maybe a trusted servant or a son and a daughter, well, something. They sitting at the table with you. Kind of in the same way that you guys are the escort, the accompaniment to Zhang. These were the accompaniment. The accoutrement. Oui, oui. Just prayers that Vera doesn't get stabby. Skill bonuses and social prowess. Don't get stabby now. Just because he's a priest of Mitra that is obviously wearing incredibly ostentatious garb doesn't mean that he's a bad guy.
But the giant bullseye on his back does.
And the feast begins. Throughout the course of the feast, there are many toasts. You know, Isaac introduces Zhang. He introduces you. You're an emissary from far off Kitai. He does mention that you have traveled, that you have recently been traveling to the barbaric wastes to the west and through Aquilonia. As he's introducing you, telling a bit of a story. And you get a lot of questions, and most of them are the typical, can you really walk on water? Is it true that you guys are ruled by dragons? You know, most of the typical kind of stuff. And for the most part, the Burgeons don't actually, they don't do anything more than small talk. They don't even seem to really acknowledge you more than just small talk and interest. But for the 3 of you at the kids' table, as the Burgeons walk in, Tiber's like, I didn't think they would be arrived. I mean, they got a blanket invitation like everybody else, but they never, ever come to our events. I don't understand why they're here.
Perhaps they're interested
They're
in
not at
the.
that table.
What do you know of them, Tiber?
Sorry. Okay, what'd you say?
I asked Tiber what does he know about the Burgeons?
He says they're a smaller family, really. They're about on par with us these days, and a very old family. They don't spend as much. They don't have as much of a presence here in the city. They actually tend to be more international, particularly up in like Nemedia and up in the mountains. I don't know why they're here. I mean, they got the invitation, but all the nobility got the invitation. We didn't actually expect them to show.
So I'm taking it they're kind of like a little more. What do they think, that they're a step above your family, or is it just
no? We just run in different circles.
We're in different circles. Okay. Interesting.
Our interests don't generally align, but we're not opposed to each other. We just almost never really. I probably have the most interaction with them as anybody, considering that I like to go to the art auctions.
I see. Well, I mean, here's your chance. You might be able to make a new contact. Score another one for Tiber.
But yeah, so the three of you at the kids' table, the Bourgeon delegation, the servants of the Bourgeon delegation, sit next to you guys, and after making the pleasantries and the small talk, once the noise kind of picks up and conversations start, who is sitting on the edge next to where they would be? Would that be the Bosonian archer or the witch hunter sitting next to them, the closest?
I'll take a toss-up. It doesn't really matter. I think he's the more well-spoken of the two of us. I'm a little more of the hammer hits the nail kind of guy.
Ironic.
Right?
All right. So, Mr. Witchfinder. Mr. Witchfinder. The Bourgeon that's sitting next to you, he says his name is, I don't have a first name for him yet. He's one of the sons of Win Bourgeon. One of the sons of Win Bourgeon. Him, his wife, and one of their trusted staff, one of the trusted household, are the three of them that are sitting at the table beside you. And he says, he kind of quietly, in between different conversations, trying not to be overheard, he says that they received message from the Gunderman to expect you guys. Imagine their surprise when they heard people matching your description were being hosted east. And to rush to get here.
Didn't exactly go as planned.
He kind of laughs and shrugs. They never do they? He says, he asks, are you planning on staying here with the Dairns, or would you prefer to be hosted in a safer environment?
I think that depends on whether or not these people can actually offer us anything that will help us accomplish our goal.
He says, very good. Tomorrow, why don't you meet me at, and he lists some bakery. He's like, these people are well known for their donuts. Lots of, it's the place to go. Meet us there for donuts and coffee in the morning, and we can talk further.
That sounds like a good idea. I hope they have vegan options.
As he's still getting blood out of his ears from the last time he popped a witch.
Yeah, but I didn't eat her. Did I?
Vegan.
No, it's just because vegans are more likely to be witches.
Witches' titties roasting over an open fire.
At least didn't eat them raw. I'm not an animal.
I have more specific scenario setup-y things happening at this feast, but we're running low on time, so we're gonna cut a little bit of the feast short and just kind of go into the bits and pieces of it, rather than into the full-on storytelling details here. So, first off, forgive me for not going into too much detail, but second, if there is a part if there's a part of this that your character would then dive further in, let's go ahead and dive in. Don't just rely on me to give you a synopsis. Let's dive in. But some of the something that you hear part of the way through the conversation for the three at the kids' table, Tiber says that his dad is really upset that the king Amalurus and his wife Iraine didn't show. It's the two seats that were beside him were reserved for the king and the queen, and they didn't show. They didn't even send a delegation or somebody to represent them. They just snubbed him, and he's really upset about that.
Does that happen often?
I mean, we're not exactly the in favor family right now. Even if the spare is working literally in the king's bodyguard. So there's a point of information. The second son is in the bodyguard of the king, but the king still didn't even show up to this feast.
Kings are busy. They got king stuff to do.
You hear rumors of oh, I hear that the Kothians, that's the nation to the south, are getting ready to invade us, getting ready to invade Ophir. Well, there's no fear. The mercenaries will hold them back. They're not really a threat. Then you hear rumors of other people saying, oh, I hear our king is making an alliance with the Kothians to go to war against the Aquilonians.
Back and forth.
You hear rumors of, did you hear that there's rebellions going on in Aquilonia? Apparently some Cimmerian is gaining armies or something.
I wouldn't get in his way.
Then you hear, oh, did you hear about those horror stories in Aquilonia? Those are so terrible. Those poor people. That whole port town apparently just got sank into the ground. List the town that we were in chapter 1, but I can't remember the name of the town now.
That's bad.
Velitrium?
Velitrium, yep, that's the one. You hear rumors that Velitrium was like burnt or sunk to the ground or something.
Wow.
In blood, no doubt.
In blood, yeah, in blood. And others are like, oh, that's a funny story. Ha ha ha.
Wasn't us.
At the head of the table, in the adults table, Zhang, roll me an insight check. Vera, you can as well.
All Vera has is sin sight.
You said it's an inside check?
Insight, yes. Zhang, success. Is that 1 or 2 successes?
I believe that's 1 success.
All right, yes, that is 1 success with complication.
What is it saying?
Okay, so the patriarch, the Lisi, as the king, or sorry, not the king, as Isaac the senior is politically correctly wishing that the king and the queen were here. There's some discussions about the king and the queen. Some of the nobles are like, oh, they're just busy, blah, blah, blah. Others are, well, they should have been here. And Vasily, the high priest, says, not says specifically, but when he talks about the king, there is something. Now, remember, this is success with complication. He sounds almost possessive of the queen.
Please tell me we don't have a Rasputin situation going on our hands, do we?
I mean, I'm not that original. I'm going to steal every idea I can get my hands on.
Boy.
I hear he's Russia's greatest love machine.
Rasputin! Russia's greatest love machine. Oh, bummer. At least that one's still going. Reload. My Twitch stream died there, but it's fine. This one's still running. You hear people complaining about slave runaways lately. More slaves are getting uppity than usual. But they're not super worried about it. Slaves are going to be uppity. Oh, here's an interesting one. at the head table, Zhang, you, and Verai, there is one of the lords, the Lord of Capets and Darvis. These two lord families are talking to each other, and they're talking about another one of the Karalan towns called Shamar, and it's to the south. It's a trade port town on a river. And they're like, and talking about earthquakes there and how the earthquakes are getting worse. Like one of them's talking about how the earthquakes are getting worse there. And the other one's like, oh, earthquakes in Shamar. Wah. Oh, earthquakes are giving me nightmares. Oh, people go mad and then an earthquake happens. Oh, the beasts start murdering people and animals go all ravenous in their own homes. And then an earthquake happens. It's rumors and fear mongering. It's all fake for somebody's profiting off of this. Just follow the money. Follow who's telling these rumors.
Howdy, friend. Are earthquakes really so common in that area?
Oh, I mean, there's been earthquakes have been happening in the city of Shamar for centuries.
Sounds like they should have moved. What's keeping them in that area?
Hope they don't build up much.
Earthquakes happen. I mean, okay, so maybe there's a few more than normal lately, but like people are losing their ever-loving minds here about it. And not even the earthquakes. They're like, oh, I'm going to go mad. There's an earthquake, and then I'm going to go murder my family. It's not real.
What?
The families aren't real?
No, the stories of these mass murder suicides and shit.
That sounds like a cult.
Almost.
It sounds to me like somebody's just trying to drive people away from Shamar with scary stories.
Sounds like Scooby-Doo.
My friend, that is a very creative story. Have there been other creative stories to that degree in other areas around here?
No, it's mostly just Shamar.
Is it it's a hot spot for those types of stories? Has that been a thing for a long time, or has that just started popping up recently?
I mean, there's always been stories about cursed Shamar. I mean, it's been cursed forever. Somebody jumped onto these stories lately and have just been spreading them like wildfire lately, but there's always been stories about it.
Interesting.
I've been there. I've stayed there. Can't say that I got the greatest night's sleep there, but it's a city like any other.
All right. Sounds interesting. Sounds like a place I want to explore. You know, like all of the cursed obelisks of the world. You know, it sounds interesting and fun.
You have fun with that. I don't really want to go back.
Is it not? It's not memorable then.
I mean, just the whole vibe there is a little off. I don't know. I don't really want to go back.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, yeah, like I am a world traveler, so I mean, it makes maybe once, one and done, right? One and done.
Nice place to visit. Wouldn't want to stay there.
Part of the way through the conversation, through the evening, Lord Isaac Darren the Senior does indeed say, and among us we even have what appears to be a legend. They tell stories of the accuracy and the proficiency of these Bosonian archers, and I have yet to see it in action. You there, Thornicius, stand up, give the room a bow.
Use a point of fortune.
Stand up and give a short bow. Hello, everyone.
Use a point of fortune.
I hear tell
Don't mess up.
that you guys are some of the most accurate and lethal archers in the whole world.
I would say you are correct, sir.
You think you could launch an arrow from end to end in this grand hall? It's the whole grand hall itself is maybe 70 yards, really not that far.
Mhm.
You think you could launch an arrow end to end through a golden ring about the size of a head?
It could be done.
Guardsman, give this man his bow. Hey, Tiber, go get that golden ring and stand over at the other end and hold it out.
Oh my God, Tiber, you poor guy. This could go bad.
Don't fuck up.
Yeah, right. But I want
Tiber's
to
like,
see-
Father, I think our guests would be better entertained by something else. And then a bunch of the lords are like, no, that sounds great. Yeah, we want to see that. Yeah, let's do that. And the guardsman brings you your bow and an arrow.
Yep. I'll go stand
And-
at one end.
Tiber stands at the far end of the room,
Hmm.
holds the ring out as far as he can go.
No. Bring it in. Right here. You're good. Trust me. Very good. Just like that. Don't move.
I recommend using the 2 points of momentum,
Oh yeah. The
as well as any other abilities that you have on this.
all other abilities. Fort and
So-
fortune point. Yeah.
So, what exactly are you doing?
I'm gonna have him hold it right above his head.
Yep.
Against the post, I guess, behind him. I don't want it to go errant.
Sure, there's something behind him. Yeah, the door.
Yeah. And then I go at the other end of the room, say a short prayer to Mitra, and draw and loose.
Are you going to be using the marksman quality?
Yes, and the accurate if I need to.
Well, hopefully you're not re-rolling damage dice on this.
No, I thought there was also it allowed you to re-roll.
Just damage dice.
No, darn it. No damage dice.
Are you also going to be using the quick release skill and using a volley of arrows?
Oh. Well, let's make it showy. What the hell? Yeah.
Oh, actually, that's one or the other. Sorry, they're both a minor action.
Oh, okay. Well, then just the
Just the marksman?
Yes, the marksman then, yes.
Okay. So 3 die 20 then?
All right.
I mean, I imagine he can spend several of those momentum points to.
You could
Increase
use 2 momentum points to give yourself 5 die 20.
I'll take it. Yes.
Roll 5 die 20.
20.
Oh, holy cow. There was no 20, but that was scarily close.
Yeah, scarily close. You're right.
Scarily close. A 16 and 4. Only 3 of 4 successes. Okay, 5 successes. 5 successes. So you see what happens is he goes up, licks the air a little bit, adjusts for air conditioning, does a couple of circles, puts on a blindfold. Hey, call out so I know where you are. Does a couple more circles.
Marco Polo.
Draws his arrow, goes hachoo, pating, and releases it up into the air, where it bounces off a chandelier. And off of the chandelier, it hits Isaac Dairns the Senior's plate of food and bounces off the plate of food, hitting an apple. And bounces off that plate of food with the apple and goes through the ring. And everybody cheers, claps, yells, hey, that was amazing. Yay! Woo, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Oh my God.
That's very close to witchcraft.
And the rest of the evening happens, more conversation happens. Is there any last bits of information that you need to retrieve from this festival of the who's, the where's, the what's, the why's?
Nothing outside of
We've
some
already
very
made that.
useful schmoozing
Yeah.
and, acquainting myself with the nobility.
I hope I said that prayer to Mitra loud enough for the silly to hear.
Well, in that case, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and call it here for the evening. So, tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, Strahd has arrived prematurely. Premature arrivulation. He should probably see a doctor about that, but for now, he's mostly just wrecking the town. Tomorrow at 8. Thursday at 8:30 Eastern, pretty sure somebody is going to die because the xenomorphs have finally been unleashed in Aliens, the RPG.
Oh,
Friday at 6:30, we are eating fortune cookies with Simon and Rufus while enjoying some AI-generated GM madness. It's interesting to say the least. Sunday, 9 p.m., what is going on in Omu? You got to find out by watching. Monday at 8:30, Star Trek pushes on past the point of the Prime Directive. And then next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we will be returning to Conan, where the party's going for donuts and coffee at a local establishment with the Bourgeons to find out how they're going to murder a necromancer.
There were no survivors.
Half the town burned. Ladies and gentlemen,
the end.
we love you. Good
After
night.
Fast traveling, which I've been doing a little bit
Bye.
too much of today. Let's actually